With this tutorial, we create a bodice sloper for the doll.
Normally I use a muslin or some sturdier cotton to make these patterns, but because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing in terms of how I've marked the doll underneath, I'm using exceptionally a sheer. I begin by lining the my little rectangle of fabric, lining the vertical line of the fabric to her center front line, or that vertical line that's running down the center of the body. Note that I have taped it to the doll, and now I will line this horizontal line with the bust line that's running underneath. And you want to hold it, you know, somewhat, not too tight, but something that just, you know, sort of glides along the body and fits her fairly snugly. And I will now sort of turn her over and sort of tape this in place so that it stays while I need to do what I need to do. Now I'm going to take a little bit of a chunk around the neck off. Don't be careful not to cut too much. And I will cut a little bit of this away so I can better handle the fabric as I'm working. And what we notice is that, now that it's snug here, okay, I need to also clip here at the waist. At the waist, and so I will now tape this to the doll. And you notice that there's fabric that's falling away, and I'm going to pinch that, and this is going to be a waist dart because this is a waist dart bodice, and I'm going to pin along from the waist to. I've finished pinning, and note that I have pinned it so that it really fits the body now, and it's from the very tip of the bust to the waist. I can now sort of clip a little bit of this away, and I can clip, stopping at the waist, clip the part that falls below the waistline, and I want to just clip just to release so that it's falling properly. Okay, when you're done, again, this dart will fall along that princess line dart that we, the princess line yarn that we have taped to the doll's body underneath. Now I've cut away some of the excess that's close to the side seam, being careful to leave enough room to work. And note how it's falling, and it's also taped at the shoulder. It's also taped at the shoulder, I'm sorry. And notice there'll be a little bit of ease that's going to fall around this part of her body, but otherwise it's a nice fit. We're going to repeat the procedure in the back, lining the vertical line against her center back line, that yarn that goes down the back of her, and the horizontal line, which is in the back of the bust line. I'm going to follow this line to the underarm, and I'm going to pin it with the front. It'll join under the arm at that side seam, like that. Okay, I'm going to clip a little bit of this so I can work better. Okay, and I'm going to join them here too. Okay, follow the silhouette of the doll in pins, and then I can adjust maybe even the top. I clipped some of this away. I'm going to fit it sort of to the doll under the side seam, clip at the waist to release the tension. If you're wondering what these little pins are, they're embroidery pins or applique pins that you can find in most craft shops. Okay, it should fit snug around here, but there should be something that falls away from the body, from the bust to the waist. I keep this line as straight as possible and pinching the excess fabric that's falling away from the body so that this dart, this back waist dart, will line up against that yarn that I have marked the quarter back with. Okay. I have finished pinning, okay, and it really squeezed out so that it comes flush against that line. It's hard to see that's underneath. I see that I'm off on the side, so I'm going to repin so that that lines up. I have not really figured ease. I'll do that later on when I'm using this as a pattern. I will do the same thing at the shoulder. I will meet the two, front and the back, and then I will pin along that shoulder line. It should look pretty much like that. Now take your scissors and you're going to cut away. Leave some margin around the from the edge of where you've pinned, and you'll just cut away the excess. Take your time with this and really shift. Make sure that as you're working, that these lines, these center lines, stay straight. Mine's pulling a bit. It's largely because of the fabric that I'm working in. That's why I really prefer a better cotton. But you want to keep these front and back lines as straight as possible during the whole process. I've clipped all the excess away. And now it's time to mark. So take the pencil and you have the neckline underneath. You just draw, trace right onto that. You've got your armhole. You've got the darts. Be sure to trace both sides of the pin and indicate where the point at which the dart ends. And don't forget to do both sides. Okay, side seam, same thing. Your seams, don't forget to do two. Don't forget to clip at the waist to release, and you might even clip the fabric to the waist, but stop at the waist. That's to get the curve of the body. I turn her around, and again I make sure that both sides, because that's going to indicate for me what's the lines, the silhouette of the doll's body, and same thing. When I have finished, I will remove it from the doll, then clean the lines up and place it back on her. Once off the doll, I take my ruler and I straighten the lines on the side, the shoulder, you can draw the curve by hand, or if you have one of these nifty little rulers, you can clean your curve up. The underarm, and again the neckline. The dart, you notice my lines are a little bit here and there and curvy, and the curves don't do us really any good, so I will clean that dart line up. Like that. And we'll clean this line up. I need to. I'll redo that once I put it back on the doll. Same thing for the back. Okay, I'm going to clean this. Is really kind of sketchy. same thing. Sometimes these will curve on the side, and the curves are not going to do us any good for this particular. And I'll do some things by hand. Now, before we are ready to transfer this to the pattern, we need to just make sure that, considering we've made some modifications since it was originally on the doll, we need to make sure that these work. And if there are any changes, then we make the changes and come back onto that. Pin this back together, folding the seams over, and place it back on the doll. If there are problems, if it's not fitting, release the pins and repin, either taking it up or letting it out. And then with another colored pencil, start to make the corrections. So there were some issues here with mine, and what I'm doing is I'm correcting the neckline. For example, I had to extend the shoulders as it was not fitting in the shoulders properly, using a different color. You check the side, check all of the, especially where these things are interfacing here, or intersecting, I'm sorry. And then you will make the corrections and then repin and try it on the doll until it's fitting absolutely perfectly.
Trace off the sloper pattern onto a stiff paper like Bristol without the seam allowance. Up next, part 3, the sleeve sloper.